Okay. Right, 1 second. Can everybody see that screen okay? Hopefully it'll update in a second. Yeah, okay. There we go. Okay, so I think we should be all okay now. There we are. Apologies everybody for the technical issues that we're having at the moment. Minecraft, it can be quite, I guess, demanding on some devices, so I'm hoping that my gaming PC will be able to cope with it. So, where's everybody getting on up to with the tutorial? Is everybody working your way through it okay so far? If there are any problems, just let me know, and we'll stop and go through them. But I think you're all doing pretty okay with this. So I'll start working my way through the tutorial now as well. So you can probably all see that with the secondary tutorial that you're all working through on with the turtles, that we're actually using a new concept now, which is the looping concept. So a lot of you have probably come across looping before, and the idea of looping is that you can continue to repeat code over and over and over again without having to type it out every single time you need to use it. So it's a really, really useful programming feature, and I'm sure a lot of you will probably come across it, or have maybe already come across it in things like Scratch or Python and things like that. So you're going to be using an awful lot more looping in this particular session, because there's a lot more the distance that your agent's got to travel in order to complete it. So I'm going to start working through it now. If there are any questions, just stop me and let me know, and we'll carry on. Remember, Andrew's also around as well if anybody needs a hand. So just let us know if there are any problems. Hello, Daisy. That's all right. Oops. Absolutely. But you could also build it up like an algorithm, uh, where you could essentially build it up so that you work your way through the level. So you could start off at the start here, and then as Andrew was doing, you could move forward. You could count how many spaces you need to move, then change direction, then move forward again, change direction again, and you could build up your own algorithm. So I'll do that in the next section once I reach here. I'll build up a bit of an algorithm so that we can program the agent to move from the gate through to the next section. I have finally got there. Absolutely. So we're going to go forwards. 1, 2, 3. Sadly not. Yes. Yeah. So, as Andrew was saying, what I did was I built up an algorithm. I was going to show it to you again, but unfortunately it removed it before I could go back to show it. But what you probably noticed I'd done was I built up a whole sequence of blocks, and that's known as an algorithm. So it's a sequence of instructions, and essentially, instead of having to write out sort of every single block of code in turn, so we had sort of, move forward 3, turn left, move forward, and having to repeat each command each time. We can simply just put them all into one big block of code and make it one big sequence of instructions, so that as soon as we hit the on chat command, run or move or whatever you called your command, the agent just followed the path because it's one big sequence of instructions. So I'll demonstrate that again now with this section here. I know some of you have already finished it. First, I see that you've completed it. That's really good going. So I'll demonstrate that again now here with this, where we have to destroy this tree or move this tree out of the way, so that we're able to reach the turtles which are at the beach. Okay. So if I open up the code builder, you'll see now that instead of me having to use, say for an example, collect one block and then run the same command again to get another block, etc., etc., what we can do is we can actually use a sequence of instructions. We can build up an algorithm that'll help us to actually run that as all one big section of code. Now, Andrew, what was that? So you might remember at the start, Andrew mentioned about pseudocode. So pseudocode is actually a type of programming where you're not actually programming, and the idea is that instead of you having to write out, say, instead of you having to sit and try and plan whilst you're programming exactly what you need to do, you sort of take a little bit of time away from the computer, you get a pen and paper, and you just write down how you expect you would like your program to run in really sort of high level terms. So for an example, you might write down on a piece of paper something like, if something, do something else. And then you're able to, in a sense, you're able to visualize exactly how you would like your computer program to run before you start writing it. So that way you have a bit more of an idea of how you would like to run your program. And it's just a way of, and you would just do that using a pen and paper, and you just jot down exactly how you would like your program to run. And it can really help when you're building programs up yourself to plan how your program will run, if you've already sort of thought about it beforehand. And that was really useful when you get to writing sort of very complex programs. There's lots and lots and lots of code in them. It can be really helpful with that sort of thing. So what I'll do now is I'll spend some time building up my own algorithm so that I can get this tree out of the way, so that I can get down to the beach to help the sea turtles. Is everybody doing okay so far? Does anyone have any questions? Yeah. Good. That's good. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got 5 bits of rubbish here that we need to pick up. So you can see what I've got up on my screen now is an algorithm just for this first section here, where I've got to repeat 5 times block here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the agent to destroy what's in front of him, collect that object, and then move forward by 1 space. So what we have here is just a really basic algorithm which controls what we're doing for the first 5 sections, so to speak. Okay, so we've got a really basic algorithm where we're saying that we want to move forward by 5 spaces, collecting each block at each time, and that's just essentially a little algorithm for us. Okay, so what I'll do now is I'm going to actually, instead of having to just run this one bit of code, I'm actually going to write an algorithm which will allow us to actually complete the whole section. So if we have a look, so after I've collected that, I've got to move forward by 1, 2, so it's going to be there, so it's going to be 3. Oh, it's not showing inside the... Oh, okay. Okay, no worries. How's everybody else? Is everybody else doing okay? That's that's good. I see you finished, Alex. That's good. Well done. That's really good. Right. So, what have I got left to do here? So I've collected that, and I want to go forward. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn left. Okay. So we're going to go forward 4 times. Going to turn left. Let's have a look, Oliver. Okay, so let's see. So Oliver, you're on the section with where you have to chase or where you have to work with the agent to finish the section, aren't you? So what you need to do, Oliver, there is you need to program the agent to reach the gold block. And what you need to do is you need to run to the gold block at the same time. So you both need to start at the start of the level. If you need to restart the level, you can right click twice. And what will happen then is you need to just make sure that you've programmed your agent to be able to reach the gold block. And then once he runs over, as soon as he starts running, you also need to start running towards the gold block as well. So if you give that a try, and then hopefully that'll work. Well, I don't think they would do. I don't think they do anything. There's right. Okay. Well, you could try it. Like I said, I don't think they would do anything, but they might have made it so that you can't actually escape from the world. You see. But if you did want to have a go at making yeah. Yeah. Well, the idea behind this world is that you use it just to kind of familiarize yourself with the code builder more than anything else, you see. So that's why there's not really much to do in it, because it's mainly to kind of get used to using the code builder. Um, but if you want to go off and make up your own world, that's okay. You can go and do that. That's fine. If you wanted to, go into a new world, you're welcome to do that. But what we'd encourage you to do is try and use the code builder that you've just been using now and the agent to help you try and build yourself like a house or another type of building. Um, Oh, I can see that you've done it, Oliver. Well done. So, if you want to move on now, Oliver, to the next world, which is called, if I can just find the name of it, it's the Sea Turtle Assistance World. Hang on, I'll see if I can post it down at the bottom of the chat for you. Save having to go over. I'm not sure if this will work. Oh, that might not work actually. Sorry. See if I can get it to come down. Let's see. Post it in here for you. Give me 1 second. You've got it. There you go. I'll pop it down here anyway, just in case. There we go. Just in case some people needed to, somebody else needs it. So if you start working your way through that tutorial as well now, Oliver, and that'll get you a little bit more used to using the code builder and things. So if anybody's still on the Sea Turtle Assistance world, what you might be able to see on my screen at the moment, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it through Discord, it might be on YouTube, I'm not sure, but what I've got up on my screen at the moment is essentially what I believe is all of the blocks of code that you will need in order to complete this section, okay? So instead of having, like I said, to write everything out several times and have to run several different commands, what I've got is just every single block of code inside of one big on-chat command. So it means that what we have is an algorithm, like I said, which is a sequence of instructions. Okay, so it's a sequence of instructions that lets us that does something within our program. Okay, and they're really, really useful for letting it. Like I said, it's really, really useful if you can plan out your algorithm. Okay, so if you can plan out how your program's going to work, maybe using some pseudocode before you start writing it, it just sort of helps with the problem solving, because you sort of have an indication maybe of, this is how I would like my code to run, these are the blocks or the lines of code that I'm going to use, and this is how I'm going to do it. And then all you have to do then is try writing it out. Now, as you can see, I've written out my code here. I've tried to write out some of my code here. There's not any guarantee that this is actually going to be the right algorithm. Okay, there might be some mistakes in it, but like I said before in previous sessions, making mistakes is all part of programming. Okay, people do make mistakes. It does happen. Okay, and it's a really normal part of programming. So don't worry if you end up finding that maybe, you've got a couple of mistakes and some things maybe not working as expected. It's all part of the problem solving. It's all sort of part of the programming process. Okay, so don't worry if things maybe don't necessarily work first time. I can see, Jack, that you finished as well, so that's pretty good. Well done. So what you need to do now, Jack, is if you've managed to finish the Turtles tutorial, if you head on over, you can either use the world that we built last week. Okay, so I know we all started building up a little world last week, or alternatively, what you can do is you can create a new world, and essentially, as I was saying earlier, what you can do is you can start using that agent that we've just been programming in the games in the world now to try and build some sort of building. Okay, what's not working now? Sorry, is that in the? Okay, say that again. Sorry. Yeah. Uh-huh. Well, all that will happen is that you won't complete that specific tutorial. So it's okay if you don't complete that specific tutorial, and you would rather maybe move on to building something else using the agent. That's okay. But if you can, just try and finish off the tutorial. So just that way, you've got a little bit more experience with using the agent. Okay. Okay. So if you want to go and create uh, your own buildings or world using the agent, then that's also okay. Mhm. I think everybody's doing really, really well. Okay. So I think everybody is starting to draw to a little bit of a close now with their with the Sea Turtle Assistance world. So well done. Yeah, that's good. So, like I said, what we'll do now is, so I won't finish up on my world just yet, okay? So what I'll do is now, I'll come back to this later, but what we'll do now is I'll move on to looking at the next part of today, which will kind of be the rest of today's session, which is where we're going to head on over back onto our, so we're going to head on over back to our, um, world that we made last week, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to start using the agent to actually build up our own world, okay? So instead of having to, I know we are able to sort of build using our Minecraft sort of avatar, okay? But what we'll do is we'll make use of the agent this week so that we can see what sort of things that we can build using our agent, okay? So I'm going to head on over back to the world that I was in before. And remember, like with last week, if you wanted to share your screens with us, or share screenshots, or share your worlds with us, that's absolutely fine, okay? So here we are, back in the world that we made last week. Okay, so you can see that I've got my agent here. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to use that agent as a way of building up our own sort of building. So I know that a lot of you, like I said, have already started coming familiar with this, which is really cool. So if you would, once you have completed your buildings and things, if you'd like to sort of share your worlds with us, that would be pretty cool. Okay. But what I'll do now is I'll just give a little bit of a demo on how we're going to actually do that. Okay. So our agents are probably already in the world because, as you remember, I'm sure, I think a lot of you last week got familiar with the agent. If I remember correctly, I think a lot of you locked him up in a tree house and things like that, which made me laugh quite a lot. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to make use of him today, and we're going to make use of him to actually build up a building. Okay. So best thing to do first of all is probably to just get in position somewhere that you would like him to be. Okay. So that way he's not sort of building off in, over in sort of miles and miles and miles away. That'll take you a while to get there. Okay. So I'm going to open up the code builder. I'm going to make use of the Microsoft Make Code. Okay. Because this is the one that we're going to need. And I'm sure that a lot of you have seen that a lot of you probably already have a whole bunch of projects saved up, possibly from the tutorials. Maybe you've started working on things in your own time. Yeah, I could see Alex. Yeah, you had it coming. So what we're going to do is I'm going to make up a new project this time. I'm going to call mine, call it, say, building 1. Okay. And we're going to create that. So as you can see, we're in the block-based programming. Remember, like I told you last week, you can actually check out the JavaScript and Python equivalents of the code. Okay, if any of you are interested in doing that. But we are going to be sticking with using the block-based tutorials. Okay, I'm sorry, the block-based programming for the time being. Okay. So to start off with, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to demonstrate how we can use the code builder to have our agent place objects within the world. Okay, so again, we're going to start off with the onChat command. The onChat command is essentially, as I'm sure you've all come to terms with it now, it's how we can produce essentially very, very similar in a way to a function. Okay, so a lot of you might remember that when we were using GameFruit, and maybe some of you have come across them in Scratch, we can use functions which we give a name, okay, and we can run just the name of that function, and what it will essentially do is it will actually let us run a bit of code without us having to repeat writing it over and over and over again. Okay, if I have a quick look at the Python code here, okay, you might notice that, I'm not sure if any of you can see this on the Discord live stream, but some of you might be able to see it on the YouTube live stream. On the code builder, if you have a look at the Python code, some of you might be able to see that it actually says the word dev on chat, open bracket, close bracket, colon, and then the word pass. Okay. Now, the first line of that code, which is dev on chat brackets colon, that is the name that's defining a function in Python. Okay. So you can see that the onChat command here is actually an example of a function. Okay. So I just head on over back to the code builder. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to call my function build. Okay. So now every time I run the build command, he's going to follow the blocks that are in this menu, in this function. Okay. And what we're going to do, I'm going to utilize a lot of the code that you can find in the agent menu. Okay, so the agent menu has got an awful lot of different blocks of code that you can use to control what your agent can and can't do. So what I'll do to start off with is I'll just show you how you can use your agent to place different things within the world. Okay, so I'm going to say, to begin with, I'm going to say agent set this block. Okay, so count 1 in slot 1. You can choose all of the different blocks that you'd like to place, and you can even search for specific blocks as well using the search tool. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of different things that you can do there. So essentially what we're saying is we're going to have the agent place a block in the first slot that's in front of them. Okay, just one block that's in front of them, and we're going to have them set that directly in the block that's in front of them. So we'll use agent set active slot 1. Okay. We then want them to place that block and move forward 1 space. So we can say agent place forward. Now, as you can see, all this little bit of code here is going to do is it's going to have the agent place the grass block in the first slot that's in front of him, and then he's going to move forward one space. Okay, so if I run that now, and if I say build, we can see that the agent has now placed one grass block directly in front of him. Okay. One thing I am going to do is I'm just going to switch on always day so that you can all see that, all see things a little bit better. Okay. So there we have it. So if I just run that bit of code again, you can see that as soon as I run that code now, he places the one grass block in front of him. Okay. Now, of course, what we want to be able to do is place more than one block. Okay, we don't want him to just be able to place one block. We'd like him to place several different blocks. And so for that, we can actually reuse that programming concept that we came across earlier, which was, of course, looping. So just to recap on looping, looping is, of course, a type of programming concept where you're actually able to repeat over and over and over again one bit of code either a set number of times or as many or infinitely. Okay, and all that will happen is the blocks of code within that will get repeated time and time and time again until it is told to stop. So what we're going to have the agent do now is place a row of these grass blocks. Okay, so I'm going to keep it in the same function. Okay, I'm just going to add into the same function the different kinds of blocks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this agent place forward block, and I'm going to use the loops. Okay, as you can see, we've actually got three different types of loops here. So we've got the repeat loop, which of course means that when we can specify exactly how many times we would like the code to run. We've also got the while true block. And the idea here is that a certain condition has to be true in order for the code to run. And we've also got a for loop, okay, which is essentially very, very similar in a way to the repeat loop, the repeat 4 times loop, where we can specify exactly how many times we would like our code to run. So I'm going to, just for this, I'm just going to use the standard repeat 4 times loop. Again, you don't have to say 4 times. I'll actually change mine to being 10. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that every time a block is placed, okay, we would like the agent to move right by 1 step. Okay. So to do that, I can go back into the agent section and I can say agent move right 1 step, and then I can say agent place forward. Okay. So if we run this bit of code again, so I'm calling my function, you can see that what he's doing here is he's now placing those grass blocks directly in front of him. Okay. So what and if I was to run this code again, so if I was to call the build command again, you can see that he just repeats the same action over and over and over again. Okay. Now, like I said, that is very, very similar to a function. Okay. And the idea behind it is that once you've written out that code once, you don't need to then write it all out again. Okay. All you have to do simply is call the function again, and it'll keep repeating that same bit of code over and over and over again. Okay. So what I'd like you to do today for the rest of the live stream is, and I know a lot of you have probably already gotten started with this, is I'd like you to use that agent in order to build up some sort of building. Okay. It can be several floors, it can be 1 floor, it can just be a basic house like I've got over here, okay? It can be however you all believe, however, whatever sort of house that you like. Okay, it's entirely up to you. But that's what I'd like you to do for the rest of today's live stream. I'm going to be following along over here as well. Now, if any of you would like to share screenshots or share your worlds with us, that would be really, really cool. Okay, I'd love to kind of see what sort of work that you're doing and the types of things that you've built with your agent. Okay, and as well, remember, if any of you have any questions, Andrew and I are available. Joe is also available. Okay, and what we'll be doing is just building up for the rest of the live stream. And that will be what we're doing today. Has anybody got any questions about that? Or is everybody happy? That's fine, Caleb. Thank you. That's pretty cool, Jack. Yeah, also, that's a really good point that's just been brought up by Jack as well. If everybody, again, I'm not sure if you can see it on my screen, but back on the code builder, there are also a whole bunch of different tutorials that you can follow. Okay, so if any of you wanted to develop your skills using the code builder a little bit further, okay, there are a whole bunch of tutorials that you can use in order to help you do that. Okay, there are lots, and there are even agent ones as well that can help you use the agent. So Minecraft Education have got loads and loads and loads of tutorials available, which you can use in order to help you build up different things. Okay, there's even a build a house tutorial. Okay, and I'm sure a lot of you are already pretty good at that. So, but like I said, feel free to follow any of the tutorials. Feel free to ask us any questions, and feel free to share anything that you work on in the Discord, because I'd love to be able to see what you're working on, because you're all doing really, really well. And a lot of you are really, really skilled in Minecraft, and it's really, really impressive the work that you do. So you should all be very proud of yourselves, of the work that you're achieving. Okay, so that's going to conclude that. So feel free to ask us questions and have fun with building. I'll be here also trying to build my own little house as well. Probably not out of grass, because I don't think that's a very good idea. So I'm actually going to choose a different block. Yeah, so Andrew's just popped up in the Discord screenshots of the different tutorials that you can use with the agent in the code builder. Loads and loads of different ones there that you can try out. And if any of you would like to, feel free to have a look at using the code builder in Python and even JavaScript if you wanted to. If you wanted to try and have a play around with a different programming language to block based. No worries, Jack. Thank you for joining in. I hope you had a good time with playing around with the agent. Remember, we'll be back next week as well, Jack. Next Wednesday. So feel free to join in. Well, Minecraft Education does have a few differences to normal Minecraft as well. Well, yeah, that is a good question. I'm not sure, but you could place a door in normally, I suppose. But I understand that it is slightly strange. That's okay, Daisy. Thank you for joining in today. I hope you had a good time. How are you finding Minecraft so far? That's good. That's good. Yeah, it is complicated to start off with. Even I was finding it complicated to start off with as well, but it just takes some getting used to, and I'm sure you'll be able to get it. Yeah, no problem, Daisy. We'll see you next week. Okay. That's okay. Bye. How's everybody else getting on so far? Okay, that's good. I'm excited to see what everybody's come up with. Nice, that's good for this. Well done. Looking forward to seeing it. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll spend around another 10-15 minutes um, doing our builds using the agent, and then at about 5:45, so in about 12 minutes, what we'll do is we'll start sharing our builds with each other so that we can kind of see what we've all been coming up with. And then we'll finish, and then that's how we'll that's what we'll do for the rest of the session today. So if you'd like to all sort of keep on building for now, and then in around 15 minutes or so, we'll have a look at how we've all got on. How is everybody finding these sessions? Is everybody enjoying them? That's good. Cool. So I'm sure some of you might have seen on, well, I'm not sure if any of you are on things like Facebook and Twitter and stuff, but I'm sure maybe some of your parents are. That of course the summer of STEM activities are going to be happening in August. I believe I mentioned about them last week. So it'll be there's some videos about it on YouTube as well. If anybody on the TechnoCamp's page, if anybody is interested in having a little bit of a look into it a bit more, there's also information available on the TechnoCamp's website. So as I mentioned, and as the video says, there's going to be some daily activities happening in August for the summer of STEM. Okay, and it's going to be really exciting. There's going to be a whole load of different activities for you all to sort of participate in. So that's going to be the reason why there won't be a coding club session for a few weeks in August, because there's going to be lots and lots of different activities happening with TechnoCamps, with lots and lots of different delivery officers. Okay, so it won't just be sort of me, Andrew, and Joe. There's going to be lots of different delivery officers from across Wales delivering different sessions. Okay, so it's really exciting. There's a whole bunch of different things going on. So Andrew has put a link up in Discord for anybody who's interested, okay, and would like to sort of sign up and participate in that. So it's going to be really exciting. It's going to be a lot of really interesting things. So there will be sessions run by Andrew and me and Joe, okay, so we'll also be there, but there's also going to be lots of different delivery officers as well, so it'd be really great that you can you'd be able to meet with lots of them as well. Yeah. Right. So I'm going to carry on with my build now. That's good. Might change mine up a bit. So if I had a screenshot from this, I can see that the Wandering Trader is having a little bit of a problem. Caleb, I've just had yours as well. That looks really good. Well done. So, everybody seems to be getting on, doing really, really well. Yeah, so that's yeah, absolutely. So there's a whole bunch of different sessions being planned, lots and lots of different activities. Um, it's going to be very, very exciting. There will be more information about it nearer the time. Um, I mean, that's mainly this is sort of the website will give you as much information as possible. Um, but I'm sure that a lot of you will really, really enjoy it. It'll be a really good few weeks. Um, and as Andrew said, you can pick and you can choose the sessions that you'd like to join into. Lots and lots of different ones going to be available. So I'm sure a lot of you are going to really will really enjoy it. Right. So my agent is here. So I need to get him to go up a little bit now. Let's see. Agent move up. Agent move forward. That's good. Uh, oh, it worked. Ah, now what you can probably see is that I've gone in the complete wrong direction, which again, like I said, is all part of programming. But what I've got here is a really interestingly designed house. What was that? So you can, as I said earlier, mistakes are all part of programming. We all make mistakes, and that's absolutely fine. Uh, if you do make mistakes, what I might do is I will fix that by placing my own blocks in here. So I am cheating a little bit here, everyone. Okay, well, thank you for joining in. Bye. Is everybody else getting on okay? I'm sure you've all been building some really, really cool designs. That is a good idea. So I can try my best. Let's see what we can do. Let's see. Agent destroy forward. Collect all. And might only be able to get one side done, but it's worth a try. Let's see if I got that right. Oh, look at that. Nearly. It was close. Oh wow, well done. That's really, really impressive. So yeah, so we are coming up to the last sort of quarter of an hour-ish now. So if anybody would like to share their worlds, or like Alex and Cal have done, share some screenshots of their worlds with us, that would be really, really cool. That's really impressive, Alex. My agent is now just floating in midair, as I'm sure a lot of you can see. Don't think he's doing too well up there. He can indeed. Going to actually have him go back one. Oops. So we shall move agent back one, and then we shall say delete. Off he goes. There we are. Okay, nice, Alex. I shall give that one a try now. Just have to go and download it. No worries, Alex. Thank you. Pretty cool. Just having a look around Alex's world here. It's very, very impressive. Okay. So I think what we'll do is we've got 10 minutes left now. So what we'll do, I think we'll wrap up there for this week, because I know lots of you are very, very, well, you're all doing incredibly well in terms of the builds that you're doing. Okay, it's really, really impressive. So what we'll do is we'll wrap it up there for this week. So you're all free to spend the last 10 minutes or even the rest of the evening if you wanted to, making up some things with your agent. Okay. So remember, if ever you are needing to write out an algorithm, or if you wanted to try and plan how your code will, what type of, how you'd like to write out your code beforehand, you can use pseudocode to do that. Okay. In addition, if any of you want to ask us any questions, remember we are always in. Yeah, of course you can, Liz. That's fine. Yeah, go for it. We're always available in the Discord if you need us for anything. But what I'll do now is I will have a look at Chris's world. That's okay. Is it still coming through, Chris? It's okay. Ah, there we go. We go and have a look. Oh, this is really cool. This is very, very cool, Chris. Pretty amazing. Well done. It took me a Yeah, it took me about a week to build this. And you use That's really impressive. That's really, really impressive. So, if you, like you said, Tris, you've still got a little bit left to do. If it's not done, then I'd love to see some screenshots in Discord once you've managed to finish it. If you want to, remember, if you want to carry on working in these in your own time, that's absolutely fine. Like, if you feel free to do things like this in your own time as well. Don't just wait for our sessions. I know a lot of you really love Minecraft, so feel free to have a go in things in your own time as well. This is a fantastic world. Okay, so before we wrap up then, anybody have any questions? I can see that the wandering trader is still pretty much stuck in the corner with the llamas. Okay. So, what we'll do is we'll leave it there for today. Next week will be another session on Minecraft. Okay, we'll probably end up doing a little bit more with the agent, maybe looking at a few more different bits and pieces that we can do with the agent. But I know a lot of you enjoy spending some time with the agent now, building up worlds. So what we'll try and do, I'll let you know what next week's session will be about, but we'll definitely try and incorporate a lot more time with the agent spent building worlds and things, because that's definitely something that I think everybody's enjoying doing. So we'll have a look at doing that a little bit more next week. So I hope that everybody enjoyed today. Sorry again about the technical issues at the start there with the stream and that. Hopefully we'll avoid that next week. But other than that, I think we'll finish up there for today. So what I'll do